before boarding the tube home. His account balance is lower than the woman beside him in running shoes and a faded jacket who quietly maxes out her pension contributions every month. One looks wealthy. One owns her future. The gap between those two lives is created by a dangerous illusion. You've been taught to mistake visible spending for invisible power. You were handed that illusion long before you earned your first paycheck. Every film, advertisement, and social feed trained you to believe that wealth announces itself. Success should be seen. It should arrive with a luxury badge on the bonnet, a corner office view, a first-class boarding pass, and a kitchen renovation your friends notice immediately. That belief feels reasonable because your financial life is public. Your rent in Toronto is public. Your car payment is public. Your clothes, your holidays, your Friday night restaurant choices, your latest Amazon delivery sitting outside your door. The middle class experiences money through consumption because consumption is what everyone else can see. But wealth is not built in public. It is built in the places nobody applauds. The retirement account you never post online. The shares you continue buying during market downturns. The mortgage paid down faster than required. The emergency fund nobody knows exists. Machiavelli observed that the most powerful people were rarely the most visible. Power protects itself through silence. Wealth operates the same way. The louder your money looks, the less likely it is to belong to you. I learned that lesson later than I should have. Years ago, I believed financial success would arrive with a feeling of certainty. I thought earning more money would finally remove the low-grade anxiety that appeared every time I opened my banking app. Then I had dinner with someone who had achieved everything I thought I wanted. No designer clothes, no luxury car, no expensive watch. But halfway through the conversation, he said something I still think about. He told me he hadn't checked the price of groceries in years, not because he was careless, but because he had built systems that made small price changes irrelevant to his life. That was the moment I understood luxury buys comfort. Wealth buys indifference. The first pattern is status substitution. You finish work in New York after a difficult week. You open your Chase app. Your salary just landed. You order DoorDash because you're exhausted, add a pair of trainers to your cart because they're on sale, and tell yourself the upgraded phone contract only adds a small amount to your monthly bill. Each decision feels harmless. Together, they create a lifestyle that requires you to keep earning at the same pace forever. Luxury brands don't sell products. They sell evidence. Evidence that you're progressing. Evidence that your hard work matters. Evidence that you're winning. Rich people understand something different. They know that spending money to prove success often delays achieving it. Every dollar used to impress others loses the opportunity to buy freedom. The question is not whether you can afford something. The question is whether that purchase increases your options or reduces them. The second pattern is ownership blindness. A project manager in Sydney earns a strong salary and still feels trapped. A consultant in Vancouver earns even more and feels exactly the same. Every raise disappears into higher rent, better furniture, more subscriptions, and a newer Toyota with a larger monthly payment. Income creates relief. Ownership creates power. The wealthy focus less on what they consume and more on what they control. They think in terms of assets, equity, and cash flow because these things continue working long after the initial effort ends. Your superannuation balance in Australia is not exciting. Your 401k contributions in the United States do not generate compliments. Your index funds don't attract attention during dinner conversations. But attention was never the point. Control was. Stop for a second. Don't think about the biggest financial decision you've made this year. Think about the last small one. The streaming subscription you forgot about. The Uber Eats order because cooking felt inconvenient. The impulse purchase on eBay because you convinced yourself it was a reward. Were those decisions made by someone building wealth or someone trying to feel wealthy? One word. You already know what it is. The third pattern is borrowed identity. You move into a nicer apartment because your colleagues live in similar buildings. You upgrade your car because everyone in your friend group has something newer. You book the holiday because everyone else is posting beach photos from Greece or Bali. You tell yourself you're choosing these things. But are you? Machiavelli understood that the person who builds a life to impress others has already surrendered control of it. Every financial decision becomes a vote for someone else's expectations. This is why luxury matters so much to those who don't yet feel secure. It offers temporary certainty. For a moment, you feel like you belong. Then the feeling disappears, and the next purchase becomes necessary. Rich people don't reject luxury because they're disciplined superheroes. They reject it because they understand the cost of needing approval. If your identity depends on what others can see, your money no longer belongs to you. The fourth pattern is visibility addiction. Your brain prefers rewards you can experience immediately. That's normal. You can touch a designer bag. You can drive a luxury car. You can post photos from a 5-star hotel in Dubai and receive validation within seconds. You cannot feel compound growth. You cannot watch your investment account quietly creating future options while you sleep. You cannot show anyone the freedom you're building 15 years from now. That delay creates a dangerous trap. You become emotionally attached to things you can display instead of outcomes you can create. The wealthy reverse this instinct. They become attached to invisible numbers, their savings rate, their investments, their ownership stakes, their runway, because hidden wealth creates visible freedom later. Here is what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to tell you this is easy. I'm not going to tell you awareness is enough because it isn't. Every person who stays financially stuck already knows something feels wrong. Knowing is not the problem. What comes next is. And that's exactly what we're getting into now. The fifth pattern is freedom accounting. When you see someone wearing luxury brands, driving an expensive car, or living in a premium postcode, ask a different question. How long could they live without income? Could they leave a job they hate next month? Could they take 6 months off to care for a parent? Could they relocate for a better opportunity? Could they say no? Luxury answers none of these questions. Wealth answers every one. A household earning £180,000 in London with large debts and constant lifestyle pressure may have less freedom than a family earning far less in Adelaide with low expenses and strong investments. One has expensive obligations, the other has choices, and choices are the highest form of wealth. What you just heard isn't taught in schools, isn't covered in most finance content, and isn't something most people are ready to accept. If you're still here, you're not most people. Subscribe, because what comes next goes even deeper. Accepting this changes the way you see your entire life. You stop asking whether your success is visible. You start asking whether your future is secure. You stop measuring progress by upgrades and start measuring it by independence. That shift feels uncomfortable because it requires giving up a fantasy you've carried for years. The fantasy that wealth looks expensive. It rarely does. When you clicked on this video, you were searching for an explanation. Now you have a choice. Continue performing success for strangers who won't remember what you bought next month, or quietly build a life where your time, attention, and decisions belong to you. You are no longer someone chasing the appearance of wealth. You are someone learning to recognize power where it actually lives, not in logos, not in monthly payments, not in applause. Real wealth begins the moment you stop needing your money to introduce you. The poorest person in the room is often the one spending the most to look rich.